All right, everyone. Welcome to episode 5 of the Irish Iron Podcast. Today I have Jay Farrell, aka Creo Muncher Jay, on. How we doing, Jay? What's the crack?
I'm fantastic, bro. How are you?
I'm surviving.
Buzzing.
I'm buzzing with the lockdown.
Good.
I've been saying to people. I was saying this to Christian.
Yeah.
You guys have been posting all this conspiracy theory stuff up on the.
Ah.
And I'm like, there's no point obsessing about that negative stuff because at the end of the day, it's not a hoax. But
Yeah.
it's not a hoax. Like, people are sick, but on our part, all we can do is put a positive environment out, positive and
Of course. Yeah.
messages out, because it's gonna end. It will end eventually.
Of course.
And I
Yeah.
think what I like is, like, some people like yourself. You're doing your challenges. You're doing your cardio challenges and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
what is it, 5K or?
No. Jesus, no. It's basically just a walk and run club, so you can walk obviously within your 2 kilometer distance, and obviously I obviously advise people to go at times that there won't be people around, but it's basically just going out for a walk and checking in with me, like you check in with your coach. They check in with me. They don't have to put it in their story. I think it's good if they do, because maybe a couple of hundred people might see it. Maybe one person might get up and get moving because of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they'll obviously just get out and walk 3 times a week and just either send me a DM and tell me how it was and I have a conversation with them, or else
Yeah.
pop it in your story and tag the walk or run. But it's been good, man. It's been very positive so far.
Yeah, man. No,
Yeah, it's
a
cool.
lot of people have been doing it. Like I've been going for a walk once or twice a day. I've been doing.
Yeah, I see you going for them walks. I see you.
Well, it has to be done. It has to be done.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I made a pull-up station, and I have some
I see that, yeah,
resistance.
deadly.
Yeah, I have some resistance bands. Like, they haven't come yet, so I'm just holding on to what I can, and
Getting it done. Like,
Well,
has to be done.
the irony is, I tell people this, and I've told people this: unless your body is completely
Yeah,
by drugs over a short period of time, you're not
course.
going to lose tissue. You're going to hold on to weight. You'll be weaker. You won't be as full. You will be a little lighter, but it
I'm
bounces.
actually getting in better shape because I'm hitting the weights every day now.
Yeah. Look,
So I'm the opposite end of the spectrum.
you're gaining a bit back. I love it. But
Yeah.
we'll get started into it, man. So it's like you
Yes,
have an
sir.
interesting journey, man. You're a father.
I am.
You went into you did bodybuilding with myself.
Of course, yeah. We prepped together.
That's it. You competed, and now you're doing the what will I call it? Mixed martial arts.
Well, it's MMA, yeah. So in MMA, there's novice, amateur, and then obviously a professional. At the moment, I'm still novice because I've only been doing it a year. It's like bodybuilding. If someone comes to you after a year doing bodybuilding, you're not going to go, I'm going to be an IFBB pro next season. Clearly fucking not. It takes time. Patience is important. I'm still very, very fucking new to this. Although, obviously, I have a training background, I'm still very new to, like, I watched Ross's podcast for you. I watched it on YouTube. And he says it very well because there's so many different movement patterns in all these. Now, I obviously do kickboxing and I do Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and then there's wrestling involved. You can imagine how much I have to learn. Do you know that kind of way? So it's going to take time, but hopefully by amateur in the next year or two. So we'll see.
Savage. So would you be doing bouts? Would you be doing like in-ring fights and stuff?
Yeah, so I had my first novice fight. Now, the rules will differ from federation to federation, but it's no like deliberately, you can't deliberately try and knock him out, or you can't like elbow him on the ground, but everything else is the same. So it's basically like a heavy sparring session. Went through the first one, and then I lost the second one to some 7-0 Belgium. He had 7 fights before, and he flew over here specifically for it, and it was my first one. So I wasn't too disappointed, but I loved it. I loved that. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. Look, I'm also trying to run a business at the same time. I'm also trying to keep my Instagram up to date. I'm also a father, like you said. I have a lot of things going on, but you know me very well. You know the way I am as an athlete, and I want to dive into it 100%, but obviously it'll all take time. And obviously we have to wait till this is all blown over as well. So, but yeah, I fucking love it. Like, a lot to learn.
Your headspace seems a lot more. It seems very good. It seems healthy. A lot more
Very
healthy. Like, you have a lot of things to keep you busy, and the business seems to be going well with the website and everything. And
yeah.
But, like, how have you found that? Because you've gone completely self-employed now. You're not getting paid by a gym. You're a self-made personal trainer. How have you found that? Like, has it been a journey?
I actually took the advice of everyone who told me that if I put what I put into bodybuilding to put that work ethic and the way I was with bodybuilding into, not that I was a great bodybuilder or anything, but into that work ethic into business, I will do very well.
Yeah.
And that literally last year was phenomenal for me, like unbelievable. Everything, I had a list of goals, every single one of them was ticked off. It was like nearly like in a weird way, like a dream come true. But like I said, I just transferred my work ethic from bodybuilding into business, and that was it. I don't think a lot of people who don't do bodybuilding don't understand how much it takes, and it's very hard to tell them that. They're like, "Oh, I'm sure it's very hard." You've no idea. Like, you've no idea. I wasn't even good. Like, I always thought to myself, and people were like, "Oh, you're in great shape. You're so big." I was like, "Nah. Like, I've got so far to go." "Oh, you came second. Well done." The second sucks. Like, I've got so far to go. You know that kind of way. You know yourself, like. But I just put that into business, studying a lot more, researching a lot more, 2-3 podcasts a day, start reading books, obviously then dealing with a lot more clients. I within 1 week of working in Flyefit, I was fully booked out. You know that kind of way. So I had a lot to very quickly. So
No way.
yeah, but it's been good though.
That's deadly. Now that's deadly, man.
I know.
I remember, like, I'm not going to name. Well, no, like, I know certain gyms won't allow you that freedom of express. I'd say, but like, at the same time, I think every gym has its pluses, has its negatives, and
Of course.
it looks like you're off to a running start now, and you've established. But how many clients would you have online? Like, would it be one-on-one?
I only started online about, when did I start online? January, February properly, and I had a goal of getting 5, and then within like 2 weeks I had like 7, and I was like, shit. Now when it comes to online, I didn't like it as much. Now I still have a lot to learn, of course. I didn't like it as much because I love being very hands-on. I'm very like, I love being hands-on. I love being involved. I didn't like text. Yeah. And it's not that there's a wrong or a right way to do it. Everyone coaches differently and stuff. But I asked a lot of people. I asked Ross, if you had Ross on, you've asked Carl. I asked them a lot of questions about it. They were already doing it for years beforehand. I asked them a couple of questions. I take my own bit about what I know, what I think, and kind of put it all together. It's been going well. I'm obviously ease off on all that now because of what's going on and stuff. I'm actually, all my clients are just getting free training off me at the moment.
Cool.
I don't see the point in charging them when I'm getting paid not to work as it is, you know, that kind of way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's been going good. I'm just very lucky.
That's it, man. But I think it's like, what people don't understand is like, you can't expect. I think it's like, a lot of people think personal training is going to be a quick buck, and I'm not naming it like I know that for, like, even in the course, it's like some people didn't make it, some people didn't quite get to the end, and even at that, I'm kind of like, look, at the end of the day, like, you have to have a passion for it, and you have to love it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what, the reason why I'm looking forward to it is because I know it's not going to seem like a job. I think I'm just going to be, every job I've had has been crazy hours.
Yeah, I know you have you. Yeah.
So I'm kind of just like, this is going to be fucking deadly. It
is.
Yeah. So
there's a lot that goes into it that people don't understand a lot of the time. You know, that kind of way. You're not only trying to get people's body composition goals. I'm very close to. I always text my clients every Sunday, and I always start the message with "Hey team," because like I'm very close with all of them. Do you know what I mean? I could go for coffee with most of my clients.
Anything like that, or would you?
Huh?
Would you have them in like a group chat kind of situation?
No. I was gonna do that actually recently, and then I was obviously this all happened, so I've been a bit thrown off the place. But I have it as in I just text them every day. I text them like I text you. I'd be like, hey, almost crack, how are you? Do you know that kind of way? But if I send a group text message out on a Sunday, and I say, hey team, and depending on what's going on or what the plan is for the week ahead, I'll obviously have all them details in there. But we're all very close. I'm very close to all of them. I'd go for coffee with these people. Do you know, I like all of them. I'm very specific about the people. I don't just train everyone who comes up to me and wants to train. Do you know that kind of way? Which I think in Flyfit kind of happens because you start there and there's so many people and everyone wants to train her, and I'll train Mary and then I'll train John and then I'll train her. You train an 18-year-old and a 50-year-old and then someone with someone who's obese and then someone who had a fractured knee like 2 weeks ago. You're dealing with a lot of people. You've got to find your niche market and what works best for you.
Yeah.
So I'm obviously have to be very specific on who I train and stuff, but I find I'm very close with them. So I can't even remember the question there. I just keep ranting on.
Oh no, like I just let you go, man. That's the aim, really. So, but we'll get started. Like, so basically, you started training when you were quite young, like myself.
Yeah,
Um,
14 I was starting the gym.
yeah, and then you stepped on stage at what, like 20,
18 was
18?
18. I did them NIFMA fucking shows when I was 18.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
to me, I got help with Vincent Timmons helped me with that.
Okay.
Skinny Guys actually helped me a little bit.
Oh yeah,
Because like back when I was 18, what year was that? So that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. So
yeah,
what's that? 2013, 2012, 2013, 2014.
yeah, man.
Um, but like it's bodybuilding still there's a very small group of us over here that do bodybuilding. Do you know that kind of way? That's how we all know each other. There's a very small, even though it seems like fitness is blowing up when it comes to bodybuilding, is a very small kind of circle. If you think about it, there's not too many who are very serious about it. Do you know that kind of way? So we all kind of know each other.
No,
So I already knew people back then. Do you know that kind of way?
yeah, and especially the young. Like I remember when I came up, um, when I was 18, um, there's only one person, Kevin Byrne. He'd be the only guy still training. Who was in my
Yeah,
actually not Blaze, who I did one of the podcasts with. Apparently, he did it with me. He didn't.
yeah.
I didn't remember him, and I
Oh,
started.
fair.
But yeah, no, I think a lot of people drop off as well. I think a lot of people don't have the
Yeah,
patience for it. Um,
yeah.
I
I wish
but
that was my problem.
I think it's like as well as that, man. It's like I think a lot of the different categories now have kind of diluted it as
Oh,
well. They're not,
Jesus, there's so many.
things, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right. I used to always say to myself, I don't know how people. I used to actually nearly get mad. I see start bodybuilding who are like us, and then they'd stop bodybuilding, and I'd always say, "This, I told you that motherfucker doesn't work harder than me. Like they don't even want to bodybuild anymore. How could you stop
Yeah.
bodybuilding? Because that's how much I loved it. I never thought I'd stop. Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah. Until you did. But let's lead into that. What caused the transition? Because like what caused the transition from
You were there
serious?
for most of it.
I was there, but the viewers might not. So it's like what I
Yeah,
know
yeah. So
anyway was. Do you think it was a mental health thing, or do you think it was more of a?
yeah, well, I'd say mental health, but it was more so, and it was more so obviously the mental health side, but it was more so from stupid shit that I was doing behind the scenes. When I
Mm,
was bodybuilding, all I cared about was bodybuilding. I still had clients then. Remember, I was still working in the
yeah,
gym,
yeah,
but all I cared about was bodybuilding. And
right.
everyone around me started suffering. And you know yourself, we've had many conversations, and thankfully I had Christian. Like I don't think Christian realizes how much of a positive impact he's made on my life. You know that kind of way.
Yeah,
Like I adore him, even though I don't talk to him now, and he's probably like this fucker. But like, he had a huge impact, and you know it's funny. Even now I look back, he was always right about the advice, especially the advice he used to give me. Even now, it's still true, you know that kind of way.
yeah,
So obviously I was trying to go back onto prep, and I just could not get my fucking head in it. Um, I think I was in off season, but I was in and out of relationships with women at the time as well. So
yeah,
I got back with my ex, and then I was trying to get back with my ex, and I was trying to be better in the relationship, but I also still wanted to be the best bodybuilder in the country. And then I broke up with my ex, and then I got back with my other ex, and then I was still trying to bodybuild at the same time. And you know yourself when you go through a breakup in bodybuilding. Holy fuck, it's tough. Like,
oh yeah,
um,
oh yeah,
yeah, you know yourself from hand in hand. And then I got into a relationship with another person, and then I end up fucking that up. And then I was like, here, hold on, I've got to press the reset button here because that really fucked me up. I was like, look, I need to just stop everything and reset, press the reset button on nearly my whole life. So I went a bit off the rails. As you remember, I obviously came off everything I was on. I deleted Instagram. I dyed my hair bleach blonde.
yeah, 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 yeah,
And I just took some time off. I took a lot of time off, a couple of months off, just to kind of. The hardest part about all that was stopping bodybuilding because that's all I'd known since I was 14, and everything I wanted to do involved training, the gym, uh, having conversations with yourself, Christian, and Ross about bodybuilding, and so I felt very lost. Like I was very lost. I didn't know. Really like I didn't know what to do. You know
yeah,
yourself. Imagine tomorrow someone told you, right, no more bodybuilding again. You'd be like, what? What the fuck? What do I do? You know, kind of way.
yeah,
So I had to try different things and go down different avenues and stuff. But it took a long time.
yeah,
Even now, I still get my bodybuilding trophies out and just stare at them like, oh, I'd love to go back sometimes. But
yeah,
obviously, on a different stage now.
yeah, man. No, absolutely. I get it. I get it. I've been there. But I do think it's like, do you think like a lot of people don't understand that? Like, I mean, look, I tell people this. I was very lucky to step on stage in 2019 and still pull off a top 3 finish anyway.
Yeah.
Given that I got broken up with 3 times during that prep myself.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Last one was a week out, and I was like, okay, all right, let's just do it anyway. And sure, I would binge for like 2 days after each breakup with food.
Yeah.
Christian knows this, like he was helping me
Yeah.
then. But at the end of the day, I think the fact that you're able to take a break mentally, take a break from the toxicity of this all, and come back and you reset.
I don't think it's the toxicity of. I don't think it's the toxicity. I don't think there's nothing wrong with bodybuilding in itself.
No, I mean the other stuff.
I love bodybuilding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah. That's what I mean. So it's more so what goes on. Bodybuilding. It's one of the. Do you know what I love so much about it? I used to play team sports as a kid, but the problem I'd have is with team sports is if someone else played shit or if someone else had a bad game and we lost that game, I'd be one of the only people on the pitch after the game crying my eyes out. You know that kind of way? And I'm pissed off because I had a good game and I can't do anything. It's out of my control. With bodybuilding, it's all me. If I don't put in the work, if I don't get up and eat my food, if I don't have a structured off season as well as a structured prep with a good coach and listen to him, if I don't put in the work and push myself, I'm never going to get a top 3 finish. It's on me. It's not on anyone else. Do you know that kind of way? I love that. It's kind of why I like MMA. It's what I put in is what you get out. Do you know that kind of way?
The difference with MMA and bodybuilding though is where bodybuilding
I can punch in the face.
very much of a subjective. You like in bodybuilding, it's all subjective. It's opinionated.
Of course.
MMA, you win or lose. So do you find that's been a bit better for you? Like that's been like there's no like question. If you lost the fight, you've lost the fight.
You've lost the fucking fight, like.
Whereas on the bodybuilding stage, it can be, especially in Ireland, it can be politics if you know the judges.
Yeah.
Like I found they can either push you harder because they know you, or if they have a client or something like that, you know.
It was in your category, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's very, very, you know. Unless you're that much better than everybody else, you have to be ready for a bit of shit to come your way, even if you win. So
and it's always there. It's always there. Yeah. That's one thing I don't miss about bodybuilding is politics, and there's a lot of drama in bodybuilding as well. There's no drama in fighting. We just kick the shit out of each other and go home.
Yeah. I mean, like I found, like, don't get me wrong, I'm very lucky. I'm not friends with the guys I would be very friendly with would generally be older. Like they'd be the ones of the sports. So I'm training with Niall Kinsella, who's 50. And then Nathan Maher, who's he's a young buck, but like
he's an animal.
Young buck, but he's like he just needs a bit of discipline, and then he'll grow. Like he's so undisciplined, it's hilarious. But again, like I find it's just you have to be very careful. You have to be very much not like not say things, but like don't. I was like I kept my circle very tight knit. You know, and I always did.
Yeah.
I would only train with certain people. I would only listen to certain people. And I had no problem laying into people, which was probably my downfalls because I got a lot of flack from like.
Yeah, you did.
And I kind of stopped doing that. I did stop doing that. I stepped back.
You're better off.
I was like, why am I doing it? It's like, I think it was just like, I wouldn't say I was bitter. I think it was just like, why the fuck are they getting the attention and they don't work as hard and they're not.
Of course.
But yeah, no, I think like when you step back from it though, did you keep in touch with any of the guys, or did you disconnect entirely in that way?
Well, like I still love looking at all their Instagram. Like you had Ian McGarry on. I love Ian. I love phenomenal bodybuilder. You know, kind of like, obviously I still have Christian. I think I seen Christian outside Southside recently, and he looks phenomenal. Like, but when it comes to staying in contact, not too much. Obviously because I was very busy and my attention just wasn't in bodybuilding anymore. Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah.
Well, obviously my attention had shifted. Now, again, I work with Alex and Carl, and one of my best friends is Ross, and they're all still bodybuilding. Do you know what I mean? So I'll have
Yeah.
conversations with them about bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I'll ask them how's prep. I'll ask them what's their diet like, or what's this, or how's training, how's, you know, the usual kind of bodybuilding chitter chatter. I'll still talk about it all the time because I absolutely love it. And people always ask me about it, people who want to start it. I'm like, I feel nearly, the big thing I loved about bodybuilding is it's the respect you get, like the respect you get from bodybuilding. Like Christian, if Christian respected me, I was like, oh shit. Do you know that kind of way? Because he's such a respected figure in bodybuilding. Do you know that kind of way? If someone like Tommy Staunton respects you as a competitor, do you know that kind of way? So I feel a bit rude going around telling people, oh, I'm a bodybuilder, when I've talked to people who are actual phenomenal bodybuilders.
Yeah,
do you know that kind of way? I was just a men's physique competitor who did well once. Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah.
You get some people who do bodybuilding shows and then they fucking start going on as if they fucking know everything about the sport. And you're like, you're here 5 minutes, chill. Do you know that kind of way? But yeah, so I still have conversations with certain people about it, and I still love talking about it. But again, it's just not in my niche right now.
Yeah. Regards Tommy, I'll tell you a funny story.
I love Tommy.
After he helped me for the finals,
Yeah.
I kept tagging him in all my stories. So eventually he blocked on Instagram. But like I still have his WhatsApp, and I still talk to him every week on Facebook. we still talk talk to each other a lot. Like I'd consider him a friend, you know. Like we go back.
He's a great guy.
I mean, we go back about 8 years, but I think it was just like, I remember, I think it was like he made it restricted, so I can still see what he left on my page and stuff. But I think it was like, I kept tagging him on all the stories, and it was kind of a turn off for all his regular clients, because it was like, oh, thanks Tommy for showing me how to squat like 190, and it would just be like a bodybuilding centric and telling me. So it's like, I just find that very funny. But you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, and I find it very, very funny. Like another guy I think it's like Akin would be. I remember he told me Tommy came up to him, and he was fanboying over him on his story. I'm not sure if you saw it, but Akin was like really excited that Tommy went up to him and was talking to him on his story, and I was kind of like, oh, that's pretty funny, because I forget how new some of these guys are to the game. I forget that I've been around these guys for years, so I don't a fanboy thing anymore. But I used to get goosebumps when I saw some of these names. But no, that's cool, man. So you work with like Alex, you work with Ross, you work with Carl. How's the experience in Flyefit been for you? Like, has it been?
It's been what is that? It's been very positive. Originally, when I left Raw, because originally my plan was change absolutely everything, and hopefully I will change. So, like I said, I stopped bodybuilding, which was probably the biggest thing. I dyed my hair because I'm fucking nuts. I deleted Instagram for a while just because I was always on Instagram. And then Raw, which has been my home since the first day it opened, I was very much a part of the furniture before I even started working there. And then I was like, right, maybe I should leave here now. Maybe I should change my environment. I probably didn't get on with some people there as well as I should have, do you know, that kind of way, without saying names. And I thought by going to Flyefit, I was a bit worried because I thought it was a step back. But I thought as a coach, it was a great place for me to go learn some more, to get better at what I do, to expand my knowledge, you know, that kind of way. And I thought in my mind it might be a step back, and it's been about 17 and a half steps forward. So I've been very lucky. And I've loved it since I started there. So I'm one of the only PTs in that gym who still isn't on the website, but it's fully booked. So that says a lot. Like,
yeah, how are you not on the website?
Because they asked me a few times, but I'd had already in my first week or two fully booked out through Instagram alone.
Okay.
All my business came from Instagram. So when people see me posting this photo or posting this quote or he's posting these stories, he's so cheesy. This is my business. I'm helping people. If you don't like it, don't follow me. Fair enough. I have a fully booked out business or one-to-one coaching system that's fully booked out through just Instagram alone. So when people tell me I spend so much time on Instagram, my Instagram is really annoying. I kind of just laugh and be like, all right, fair enough, whatever.
It's your job.
It puts food in my child's mouth, you know, that kind of way. Yeah, it puts food on the table for my son. That's all I really care about.
Yeah.
that
like
and helping all my clients.
see, that's where you and me differ a lot. Like you very
Yeah.
much took advantage of the social media, make a business
Yeah.
out of it. Whereas I'm very much like I'm only getting into it now with the podcast. I'm only really kind of taking a little
Yeah.
bit. Not I don't
That's a
have
good
it.
start though.
I don't have it in me to do all the posts and stuff like that. Like, look, I've never thought stuff is cheesy. I think look, people always have to do what they want to do. If they don't like it, fuck them. And if
Yeah,
they do
exactly. You're dead right.
if they do like it, great. It'll build traction, and people will pay
Yeah.
attention. But
Yeah.
that's great. So it's like you like because that's completely different to what I'd be used to anyway. But um, have you
Yeah.
found how many sessions would you have during a week, for example? Like, would it be like 10 clients
I
over?
think yeah, so I think I had like 13 clients, or before I finished, I think I had 13 to 15. So I was doing like 25 sessions per week, 25 to 30 sessions per week with clients. And then obviously you have to do your PT hours for Flyefit. So then
Yeah,
I was working like 12 hours. We had to break that up into 3 or 4 shifts a week or something we were doing at one stage. So
that's
you can
fine.
imagine the amount that on top of all my clients back and forth got a bit crazy. 60 to 80 hour work weeks, including like training and stuff, which is just nuts. I just wasn't sleeping. It was go, 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 go. But I fucking love it. Like, don't get me wrong.
The thing is,
But like, this is
that's the
what you're saying.
difference. If you love being in the environment, you don't want to leave it. You want to
Yeah,
be there.
but the problem with that as well is it's great being busy and very busy, and people can see you're very busy and you're constantly there, and money's good. But I need time to study. I'm not the most academic person in the world. I
Right.
need a day off, which I wasn't taking, and I need a day off just to write down my thoughts, write on my whiteboard. What's my next goal? What am I going to learn next? What's the next course I'm going to do? And for so long, for the last like 2 or 3 months, I was so busy with my clients, and everything was going so well, but I didn't have time to improve. And then thankfully this actually has given me a time to sit down, do things like this, like a podcast. I
Yeah.
had a live last week where I did a live with another coach, and things I wouldn't have had time to do if I wasn't being told to stay at home. Do you know, that kind of way?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like that's what I tell people. Like, take advantage of the time. Like, look,
Yeah.
like on my end anyway. I know for sure. Jesus, I didn't stop training. I kind of did my show. I gained like 20. Yeah, I gained 20 kilos of weight. Um, yeah, I did.
I've lost 25 kilos now from when I was bodybuilding.
Yeah, man. Oh man, but
That's a lot of fucking weight. Like,
I'd say you feel better. That's the thing. Like you feel limber. You feel joints are
I feel
healthy.
loose. Yeah, I feel good. My head feels good. I
Yeah.
feel like I can move. I'm not too weak either. Like, I can still like bench press like 100 kilo for reps and stuff, which I didn't think I'd be
Hey,
able to do.
no,
You know, that kind of way.
and you're off. Would you be off all the stuff as well? You'd be off all the super supplements as well.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, of course. Yeah.
deadly, deadly, deadly. Because I found
I miss that.
the problem is now, if it was back in the 1990s and Pride was still around, you could absolutely hop on some TRT and go
Jeez,
in and
yeah.
rip
Yeah.
Fedor or fucking like Alistair Overeem or
They
one of
weren't running TRT. They were running fucking all sorts of shit.
the
They're
yeah
fucking huge.
the pre-USADA days. That's what it was, like
Mm.
pre-USADA days. But like it's funny. Like I wouldn't bodybuild. I wouldn't fight. I'd never fight. But I do
Yeah,
watch it. Like I've watched it for years.
yeah, same.
I think it's like they're very diligent on their testing now, and you very much have to
Yeah,
be a clean-cut individual, which is fine, absolutely.
yeah.
I get it. But how have you found the difference has been for you? Because when you were bodybuilding, it was an enhanced sport. You were doing the enhanced route, and now
Yeah.
you're using just nothing, probably just some protein powder or whatever. How have you found your body's reacting
Yeah.
to everything you've done now? Like, you feel healthier?
Well, I'm skinny as shit. I've lost so much weight. Like, like
I'm a good, I'm a
one of the
good.
hardest things I've had to come to terms with is people going, "Whoa, you've lost a lot of weight. Whoa, you have to get much skinnier. Are you okay?" I'm like, "Fuck you. I'm healthy as shit now." Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, now I may not be strong, but I could kick the fuck.
Yeah,
No. But in all seriousness, though, originally it was very hard because that was like I said, that was so much of who I was. Bodybuilding was so much of what I did, Anyone who knew me from Instagram or being an annoying little bodybuilder who keeps posting selfies all the time. Do you know that kind of way? With the weird Instagram handle. So one of the hardest things is people saying, you've lost a lot of weight, you look a lot. That was very hard for me to deal with, especially as a lad. The last thing, it's like an insult. Do you know that kind of way? Oh, you look a lot smaller. Oh, your legs are getting very skinny. I was like, oh, fuck. And that was hard. That was probably that was the hardest part. But health wise and stuff, I got my bloods done not too long ago. And they were all like perfect, which is really, really good. And yeah, I feel great. Like my joints, I still have a few little injuries. Obviously, my back. It's funny. The whole reason I eventually stopped bodybuilding was because I injured my back for the second time. Remember, I popped herniated lower disc or the disc bulge in my back.
I remember.
That originally was the thing that stopped me training. So, besides that little niggle here and there, I feel pretty good.
Cool, man. Now that's a big thing. Like, tell people this: unless you're going to be competing at a high level, be it bodybuilding, powerlifting, there's absolutely no need for you to run any form of anabolic supplements. Again, I just say this to any of the listeners: I'm not an expert. Okay, I'm not a physician. I'm not a doctor. I'm not like in any way, I'm not a chemist. I don't know what's in these substances that people are taking. From my own experience, I do understand the mental side of things. I understand that, bloods do have to be at a certain level for peak performance. Like taking more of one thing is not going to make you perform better if your bloods are coming back shitty or if you feel shitty. And I think like what you've done is you've shown that you can come off all these things and you can perform at a high level of ability and not have to rely on, I would even say rely, because it is hard to train. It is hard to get your head. It's not addiction, but you're able so much faster. You're able to push the food, and you're
In fairness though, I did need to cruise for a while because my fucking hormones were fucked. Like having sex and even was fucked, that kind of way. So there is still that element of being on a cruise, but that is something or you should at least fucking know. If you listen to this and you don't, now you fucking do. It's something you come to terms with when you run your first cycle. It should be this. Am I going to do this? How long am I going to do this for? Because if I go down this route, like this is what you have to know the precautions of what can happen after and stuff like that. You need to know all these things before you decide to make that jump, essentially.
Don't just. I had one guy. I remember I had one guy asking me advice, and I've had people ask me. They'd message me on Instagram, and the thing is, I'm not naming their names, but like within the first 5 minutes of me talking to them, they tell me what they're taking, and I'm like, dude, I don't know who you are. Don't tell me this stuff. I'm not going to tell people because out of respect, but you have to be very much. It's a gray area in Ireland, so it's like it's not possible to use for your own personal use, but it is illegal to buy and sell them. So I mean, if you talk to the wrong person, I mean, I remember I told you about that guy who was asking me, and I was kind of like, no, I'm not into that. But, I think at the end of the day, it's very much, you have to be very, very careful about what your bloods come back at. And look, if there's something risen in a bad way, if there's some counts in the wrong area, you have to address it. And I don't think a lot of people are, especially when they're younger, because they think they're invincible. But that being said, with the losing all the weight and after the mental health stuff, after because of, you've come to terms with it and you've established yourself as a business. But the other thing I want to think is you became a father at 17, right?
Yeah.
So how was it like? Because like, look, I can't imagine having a kid. I remember I told you I almost had that scare and I was shitting it.
Yeah.
But you being a father and then pursuing your own business and doing all this. Do you find that more motivating for you? Would you find that?
Well,
going? Like,
First, I wouldn't say motivating kind of, although motivation for the biggest part is a lot of bullshit. But more so was this. There's a couple of ways I look at it. One, it was definitely I need to get my shit together. I need to cop the fuck on. I'm responsible for another human being now, and I did not want to have the same kind of problems that maybe I have grown up with, or I don't know people who've grown up with. So I didn't want that to happen. Of course, you don't know what life's going to throw at you. So
yeah,
obviously, I'm no longer with her. So he lives in her house. And recently, and it's been very tough trying to run a business because I don't take time off. I have him 2 or 3 days a week. So usually from Friday to Sunday, or Friday night, Saturday night, and then he'll go home Sunday evening. That was very hard considering I don't take days off from work. So that's been tough, of course. But because he's a little boy, he's great. Like he's great. He's great to have around. He understands what I'm doing as well. You know, that kind of way. He's got not too much of an idea because he's only 6, but he knows about training. He knows where the gym is. I've brought him to the gym. I've shown him this is where Daddy goes in his spare time. I've brought him down to my MMA gym. He knows when I'm there. I obviously won't train if I have him, but I will if I have to work. I'll have to work. You know, that kind of way.
yeah,
But yeah, get it done. I'm still learning. I'm still learning a lot. You know, that kind of way. He
yeah,
still is my first kid. I'm
yeah.
still never gonna be. It's never gonna be perfect. You know, that kind of way.
And
But yeah,
have you found that like being a single father, are you like when you're like being a father, have you found the relationship thing has been crazy? Like having to tell a girl that I have a son.
yeah, it's very. You can, straight away it can be very
Stories.
difficult. Now, in fairness, as difficult as it is, I've never actually had someone who's actually had an issue with it. You know, that kind
Okay.
of way. Like, I
Yeah.
actually haven't had one person who's been like, "Oh shit," but I can imagine it's definitely probably caused a lot of problems behind the scenes. Do you know
Mm,
that kind of way?
mm,
Um, People will say they wouldn't have a problem with it. That's fine until it becomes a bit of an issue, and then it's like, oh, here, I'll just go be with someone else who doesn't have these kind of responsibilities yet because I'm still so young. Do you know that kind of
yeah.
way? I'm still at such
Yeah.
a young age. Very few people my age have a child. Very few people my age have a child and have a business. You know that kind of way. And
Yeah.
that's why I've always kind of looked at it. So
Yeah. I mean, every person I know bar yourself. Yeah, pretty much every person I know by yourself who had a kid that age, they don't really work until the kids a
yeah,
bit older. Or and mainly it's been at least the girls don't. Now that I
yeah,
could be completely wrong, so don't like listeners don't like rag on to me about that because I know there is exceptions obviously,
yeah.
but deadly man, that's deadly, and he features very heavily on your socials as well. So
Of
like,
course, yeah. Well, he's a huge kind of part of my life. You know that kind of way. Um, Even bodybuilding with him, I had a video on my page. Like bodybuilding with him was hard because I had to get up, make him breakfast, then I'd have to try eat like 10 eggs before going to train for
yeah,
the first time of the day. Do you know that
yeah,
kind of way?
yeah,
And that was tough and stuff. But he's been around for all of it. Do you know that kind of way?
yeah,
He's been there for me for my bodybuilding and for my MMA, for my business. And it is what it is, my man.
yeah. Are you single now? Or are you seeing somebody now?
Single now,
Single.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Not by choice.
No, quarantine. That's all I'll say. But not
But it's
new.
hard to balance. Like, look, here's one of the biggest things I've found is, and I got this from bodybuilding. Unless you are 100% all in, you're not going to be like a top tier level. Let's say, okay, if you're not all in on bodybuilding, if you're not, you can be the most genetically gifted person in the world, but if you're not fucking trying, you're not going to be shit. Okay, so you need to put a lot of fucking effort into that. So let's say then I do this with business. I start learning, I start asking questions, I start getting different coaches, different mentors, business mentors, investing money. I do go all in on business. Fair enough. If I'm trying to go all in on business, I'm trying to learn and get it all in on MMA, and then trying to run a relationship while being a father at the same time. I found it very fucking difficult.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sure I'll figure it out someday. I hope so.
It's all a balancing act at the end of the day. But you know what? I think it can be done. I mean, for sure. And you're doing a great job at
Yeah.
it now.
I seen Sean Roden. Is it Generation Iron 1 or Generation Iron 2? I think Sean Roden's talking about it. Our what's his name? Jackson.
Dexter.
Dexter
Dexter.
Jackson. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
having a conversation. It's like one of the most important thing in a young bodybuilder's life is stability. It's important if he's getting a relationship to stay with that person and to have that stability. Because if you don't have that, it'll throw you off from your other goals. Let's say if it's bodybuilding or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. No, 100%, 100%. And at the end of the day, like, yeah, no, you need stability, and I think you need a financial base as well, and
Of
you need something
course.
to fall back on. And I think like the problem that a lot of fitness guys have is they don't know how to manage, myself included, up
Yeah.
until recently, they don't know how to manage their financial base. So it's like they kind
Yeah.
of living week by week. They don't really have any plan or any form of, sustainable. Like, I know a lot of guys who would be going through financial troubles now because of this quarantine, because they don't
Yeah.
have. And I remember a few guys were putting up these stories about, you know, because they weren't prepared for this. Nobody was prepared for this. But I'm not laying into them. But I also think as an adult, you should have some form of, planning, saving, something
Of
put
course.
for emergencies. Like, I was very lucky. Like, I've had to sign up to the dole. I still haven't gotten it. I have to go next week and sort that out. But I
Mm.
also had a ton of savings, so I'm financially okay. But I know a
Yeah.
lot, and I'm out of a job too. I left my job, um.
Yeah.
So like, but I think a lot of guys, like, the problem is when you're self-employed, as you are, I'm sure it's yeah, that's one thing I want to ask you actually. The tax situation. I'm sure there's been a few guys. Yeah, I'm sure there's a few fitness guys who have been like, I want to buy this, and this. They don't really take it off as an expense, and then they have to give back their car or give back whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
How have you found that, man? Because you came from like Raw was a paid job. Raw paid you like it
Yeah.
was gave you a wage. Going into
Yeah.
self-employment, how have you found that? And having to do your own taxes and having to be a bit more on the ball with that stuff. Has that been like trouble, or has it been okay?
Yeah, well, also like Raw also paid me, but I also had my own clients there as well before their system changed. So I did have a bit of a background with all that stuff anyway.
Okay.
Um, Also, because like I said, I put 100% of all that I used to be in bodybuilding and I put that into business. I
Yeah.
obviously had a lot more money than I thought I'd have very quickly. Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't really spend money. Like I dress the same most days. I'm not very fancy. I'm not very flashy. Like the flashiest thing I have is these AirPods and this fitness watch. And to be honest, I don't even know why I bought them. The
You
watch
got
is
a
great
car.
because yeah,
You,
yeah, and I got a car as well. But the car
yeah.
again, the only reason I originally bought the car was one, so I could get to my son and I could see him more because I can collect him from school and stuff. That was
Yeah.
the only reason I got a goddamn car. People
Yeah.
seem to realize, oh, also of course it's great to have a car and driving's cool, whatever. I don't really drive my car that much. Like I literally very rare. I haven't driven like well, of course because of quarantine, but I haven't driven like 2 weeks or whatever
Mm.
properly. Um, but because I put so much into business, so much into making an effort, producing a little more valuable content than I did before. Don't get me wrong, a lot of my posts are still very arrogant. Like they're still me fucking topless in my garden with, which is silly sometimes, but there is a lot of valuable content in there too along that. And that brings people in. People obviously bring more money in, you help more people, more money, snowball, blah, 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 blah. As for taxes, I ask people. I ask people I know. I ask accountants I know from training. I'd like to consider myself a very friendly person, you know, that kind of way. And I talk
Yeah.
to anyone.
Yeah.
And I've made a few good friends along the way who are very good with things like taxes and money and stuff like that. So I've asked them and they've helped me out and they've helped me kind of understand it a bit. But I don't know how this is all going to affect it now with all this kind of going on at the moment. But like
Yeah.
you said, I have savings for the first time in my life that I just don't touch that are already set aside for all my taxes at the end of the year. So I'm not worried, you know, that kind of way.
Yeah.
I'm more using this as a time to just to get myself to help more people or for more people to see my face and help more people than I am currently, or maybe reach a broader audience than I had of before this all happened. Because I have time now. I have time to produce content. Like I said, I have time to do these kind of things. I have time to create this walk and run club. Like I created that at like 7 in the morning because I couldn't sleep and start writing down ideas and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
So yeah. Jeez,
I
I went
think
on a
it's,
bit of a fucking tangent there.
oh no, absolutely, man. Like, basically, what I've been told now, for anyone listening, like what I take from that is literally just keep track of your expenses, all your business expenses, all your deductibles. Keep physical track of everything. Keep your
And it's
receipt.
hard. It's
Keep your
very
receipt
hard.
and put them aside.
I have I have all my receipts just like stocked up in my room everywhere. But like, and again, I'm definitely not the most efficient with this. I should
Yeah,
definitely be a little better, but I am also learning as I go.
yeah,
Anyone who comes on to podcasts and has conversations who's only been doing this for like 5 years and they act like they've got it all together, most of the time they don't.
yeah. See, I'm very lucky. My dad's self-employed. He does his own taxes, and so does my
Ah,
mum.
deadly.
So I
Savage.
just said to them, I'm just gonna let them walk me through it, and I think I'll just do it I'll just do it 4 times a year instead of at the end of the year, just to make it
Yeah, yeah.
a little more, just keep track of it a little bit more.
Yeah. But see, I had no one in my family, like no one in my family trains, no one in my family does exercise, and no one in my family has anything to do with taxes or anything like that.
Yeah,
Do you know that kind of way? So a lot of that I have had to figure out by asking a lot of questions. Do you know that
yeah,
kind of way? Being the
yeah.
stupidest person in the room.
Yeah, no, I get you, man, 100%. Like, this is completely new to me as well. So I'm kind of like, I'm
But
just filling the brains of everybody I can talk to, which is half the reason I'm doing this podcast. Just get information out, but also spread information. And, you
yeah,
know, I think, like, at the end of the day, we all have to help each other in our own way.
yeah,
I mean, and again, going back to what you said, I mean, I remember you get a lot of flack for being arrogant. And I'm like, you know what?
yeah,
I don't really call it arrogance. I call it like, there'll be confidence in your ability. It's like if you're taking advantage of social media, which you are,
yeah,
a lot of people are afraid to put themselves out there. I mean, look, at the end of the day, like, you are going to get people who don't like it, but I think that's just not their taste. But for every person
yeah,
who doesn't like it, you're going to get a few people who do, and they're the people who are going to ask you the questions and come to you for
yeah.
advice. Um, like, would you say, like, and that hasn't really changed since you've stepped back from bodybuilding. You're still doing the same thing anyway. But
Yeah.
would you say you'd start up? Are you going to start up YouTube or anything? Or are you just going to focus on the Instagram stuff?
Like I've toyed with the idea of doing that so many times. I don't think I'm that interested. I think I'm very fortunate, you know, that kind of way. I'm in a position where not a lot of people are in, you know, like,
Yeah.
especially with being a father, especially from coming from the bodybuilding, especially from the having your own business and stuff like that. But anyway, that's besides the point. What was the question? I got confused there. Start
Oh
talking
no,
about myself too
geez, no.
much.
It was no. It's literally like, what would you? I'll rephrase it, man. It's like, I found now. I started YouTube 2 years ago, 3 years
I
ago.
remember. Yeah,
I only did 2 videos for it. I spent a lot of money on it,
I
and then
remember. Yeah,
I found out that the people liked the ones that I didn't spend the money on. And then I
yeah,
started toying with the idea of, the only thing I would put on the YouTube now is these podcasts. So I have these out on 6 or 7 different platforms. It
yeah,
just goes out automatically, which is great. I have to do the
yeah.
YouTube one myself, obviously, but would you find, like, obviously your what has been your methodology for getting the business through the social media? Do you think it's just a point, just being consistent with what you do?
Yeah. Also, like I said, it's investing time, like really studying and learning is the foundation of everything. Is what you study and what you learn, and how you portray that to your audience so they can understand it. I'm not going to sit here and go into something fucking mad details or something that I fully don't understand, and then try explain that to one of my clients. Do you know that kind of way? Things can get very complicated. I like to keep things as simple as I can. Um, or let's say putting it into layman's terms, because that's the kind of people that I'd be helping. You know, that kind of way.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
big goal with all of this is just to help as many people as I can in the time that I'm doing this. You know, that kind of way.
yeah,
A lot of the times you'll see people and they'll start personal training, and a lot of them will go, "Oh, I'd do this if I wasn't paid." Okay, prove it. Now is your time to fucking prove it. I'm not
yeah,
getting paid right now. Do you know that kind of way? I'm still
yeah,
doing this and pumping out all this. This is not that I'm great or, oh, look at you. People do have to make money. I completely understand that. But this has been a great time to show, and a lot of people have stepped up. There's a lot of, say what you will about home workouts, there's more positive in them than there is negative. Do you know
yeah.
that kind of way? Say
Well,
what you want about recipe ideas. There's still more positive in them than there is negative, even if as long as the information is correct, of course. Do you know that kind of way?
yeah,
Um, but you're seeing a lot of people step up, a lot of people being a lot kinder, nearly pumping out a lot more valuable information. A lot of
yeah,
people aren't getting paid for it. Do you know that kind of way?
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but it just shows that my goal is it's just to help people. I don't give a flying fuck about anything else, to be honest. I'm quite happy with my same clothes every day and my stupid hats, you know, that kind of way, and my little Opel Astra. I'm
yeah,
happy with that. as long as I get to train and I get to train competitively, because you know me, I am very goddamn competitive. And as long as my business grows to a place where I'm comfortable, then I can just helping as many people as possible is obviously the best part of all that, you know, that kind of way.
Yeah.
And it sounds like a selling point. I understand that, but it's not.
No, I get you 100%. I mean, like, that's why I'm doing this. Like, I want to put people into, like, look, I've been toying with this idea for a while anyway. Not listen,
Yeah,
like, I don't tend to listen to fitness podcasts. I really don't.
yeah,
Watch videos. I've been more into the videos for the fitness stuff, but I've been listening to a lot of podcasts outside of my realm. So it'd be like different areas of businessy ones, you know, then Joe
yeah,
Rogan for the entertainment aspects, and then comedy ones. And but I found like I thought, you know what, like the way you do your niche thing, I was like, nobody's doing what I'm doing now,
yeah,
interviewing people within the bodybuilding or within the fitness industry in this kind of way. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. Like, will it make money? Probably not. Do I want to make money from it? I don't really care if I do or don't. I mean, like, people will, I think it'll pay off in the end. I mean, my end goal with this, I'll say it now, I want to do what Irish Muscler did. I want to be at the shows. I want to do top 3 interviews with each category, and I want to do it live in front of a backdrop. And me and Matt Blaze have said we're going to team up to do it because he would know sponsors and stuff to pay for it.
yeah,
So we're
yeah.
going to, we'll combine our
Remember
two.
Irish Muscle? That used to be deadly.
Yeah.
I used to watch all of them. I remember watching that when Blessing was like a junior and he, he was like new on the scene, and they
Yeah.
all interviewed him after and all.
But
Yeah.
nobody's
God, that's a
doing
long time ago.
that's the thing. Nobody's doing it. And I think people want to see it. So I'm like,
Do you think bodybuilding's dying in Ireland, or do you think it's
no,
growing?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I've a long-winded thing to say. So basically, I don't think the number of people bodybuilding is dying. I
Yeah,
think when I started out Men's Physique, because I started out I think a year before you. So
yeah.
when I was doing it, there was only Men's Physique was 2 years old, bikini was 2 years old.
Men's Physique wasn't even a thing when I was starting. Yeah, it was very
No,
fucking
so it was
small.
on you. It was on you. So all the young people getting into it didn't know what it really was. So they all had to do junior bodybuilding. So when I did juniors, there was 21 competitors in one show and then 24 or 5 in the next. So I don't think it's necessarily dying. I think what's happening is there's always going to be that hardcore demographic. But I think a lot of young guys, look, it's a hard one to say because the number at each show is going up. It's just in different categories. And I think a lot of people they're deviant. Like, even though you did Men's Physique, you still trained like a bodybuilder. It was more just what suited your body type to do Men's
Yeah,
Physique. You trained as a bodybuilder. What I find very discouraging is that I know a lot of young guys in Raw, and I talk to them, and they're so eager. But I'm like, do you want to compete as a junior? It's like, oh, I want to do Men's Physique. And I'm like, why do you want to do Men's Physique? Do you think it's just easier to do? And I think a lot of guys are doing it because it is.
well,
You don't.
if they're doing it because it's easier, it's the wrong. They're in the wrong
That's
sport
it.
already.
That's it. And
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't think it's dying. I think it's just like if you go to the UK, it's huge, man. When I went to PCA finals, fuck, it was the best show I've ever done in my life. I was in the best shape
yeah,
I've ever in my life, and I still didn't place in the top 6. And I was like, but I didn't care because I
yeah,
came in shape. It was the first. Okay, it was the second show where I came in shape without water. Did the top 3 finishes I got before, I looked pretty good, but no, I don't think it's dying. I think people are just deviating towards different areas. I think
yeah,
bodybuilding as a whole, it's always going to have those people who want to be freaks. Like, I want to be a freak. I'll never stop trying to get as big as I possibly can.
yeah,
But I think it's just people are getting drawn in towards different areas. I think classic physique is amazing, but I think
yeah,
people are so much more. People are doing classic either because they have phenomenal shape and they're geared towards it. Like IB, you have Vinny Crane who's built for it, and then I have him on
yeah.
next week. But
Yeah, he was one of my first coaches.
yeah, no, so he'll be good. He'll be good. But what I mean, I Shane Cullen. But what I mean is I think people are going into it because they think they can make a height and weight ratio. They don't look classic. So no, end of thing. I
Yeah.
don't think it's dying. I think people are just doing different things within it. Industry is
Yeah.
getting bigger and bigger. There is more bodybuilders doing it. And people are saying the standard's dropping. It's not dropping. The best guys are always going to be winning the show. It's just
Yeah.
there's such disparity between the guys who aren't doing great and the guys who are. Whereas
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
in the day, they were all, quite good. They were all
Yeah.
good. So no, I don't think it's dying, man. I'm excited. I think I had a client who was gonna do juniors, and he was gonna clean up because he would have come in shredded. Uh, like
Yeah.
you weren't at the shows last year, but Dan Lenihan won, and the fact,
Yeah, I started training actually back with Dan when we were
yeah,
like 17. Yeah,
yeah,
he's phenomenal.
the fact that he won because he was in condition and outweighed by 20 kilos,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, juniors, but fuck me, you guys have to up your game because when I did juniors, we were big, we came in shape. The only reason I came third was because the guys who bet me were in shape because I was not outsized. I have never been outsized in any of my shows. I've been beaten on
Yeah.
condition. But the fact is, juniors in Ireland, if you're listening to this, and I am going to say this, you guys need to fucking come in shape. It's embarrassing when you guys are stepping in shape and you're out of shape. You look, you're 4 weeks
Yeah.
out, and I love you guys, but come on. I mean, like when there's
Yeah.
4 at least come in shape. And like Dan, came in shape and he reaped the rewards. He came in shape and won.
Yeah.
Guys who were running all sorts of shit and had synthalled up shoulders, and you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but what's your take on it, man? Would you say it's dying, or like you're probably of the same opinion? It's just getting
I
better.
wouldn't have too much of a correct opinion because I haven't been involved in it as much anymore. You know, kind of way. I still find people still ask me about it all the time. What should they do? Should they do this? Would you help me with posing for this? And I always say, I take great honor in it because I love it. But at the same time, I'm like, you could definitely ask better people than me. Do you know that kind of way?
I get you.
What I would say is dying. I highly doubt it. Something like that will never die. I don't think. Obviously, right now it's a bit unpredictable because all the shows are cancelled, but every sport was cancelled. My MMA was cancelled. You know that kind of way.
Yeah,
So I wouldn't know too much. I doubt it though. I highly doubt it.
yeah. But every show
But
after
you're
this,
right. Some you always get people who show up to shows that aren't conditioned enough. You know that kind of way.
yeah,
That's where the suffer and the real work kind of comes in. And if your first few shows you're only getting used to it and getting used to your body, but if you're like 6, 7 shows in and you're still not conditioned, you should probably fucking rethink something.
yeah. And at the end of the day, I think, look, um, I think once this quarantine is over, every show is going to be stacked. I think spring next year, it's going to be
Oh
phenomenal.
yeah,
So,
Jesus. I think I'm gonna go watch them. That'd be fucking sick.
because
It'll be packed.
I've one client who's going to be doing it.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll get a few more. Hopefully, but every junior in Dublin kind of wants to do men's physique, and I refuse to prep men's physique guys because the last two
Yeah.
men's physique guys, I'm not naming names, but just didn't go well, and they didn't place well because of it was their own fault.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man, we're coming up at an hour now, so let's blast those questions
That
out.
flew by.
Yeah.
Jesus. So I got two here for you. Okay. The first one is how to build muscle at home during quarantine. What's your
Oh,
opinion on that one?
okay. It depends. There's a few different ways to look at it. I think if you're lucky, okay, if you have a squat, obviously if you have free weights up to a certain weight, you can still progress. Okay, you can still, like, if you have a squat rack, and some guys are very lucky. They have a squat rack, they have a bench, they have bars and things like that. You can absolutely train 100% to build muscle. But I think what this question is geared towards is guys who don't. And I think the sad reality of it is, no, you're not going to be able to build muscle to the efficiency that you were when you're in a gym in that environment because you don't have what's at your disposal. So what I've done, I have ordered heavy resistance bands with handles. I've done DIY stuff. I've built stuff. I've built a pull-up station. I have pulleys. I have nylon cables. So when you do
Yeah.
get here to arrive, I think building muscle is a wet dream unless you have stuff at hand, but you can absolutely maintain. I think it's like there's three things. If you're enhanced, taper down, go on to a TRT dose, and eat less food because your energy output is going to be less. I've cut my meals down from 5 or 6 to 3 normal meals a day because my output is less. But I am holding size, I am holding weight. So building muscle, if you have things at your disposal, like some bodybuilders have squat racks and everything at home anyway.
Yeah.
I asked Jay in Go Gym if I could borrow some of his equipment, but apparently I was too late to the party, so I didn't get any. But
Fair.
no, I think if you're a beginner, you can build muscle because your training ability and resistance is going to be lower anyway. But if you're at my level, or if you're at like an intermediate level, just focus on maintaining it. Don't worry about it. Take this time as a break. Let your body refresh and just like I've gotten leaner because I'm walking every day. My legs are
Yeah.
looking really good, and I'm like,
Yeah. So a lot of people's energy expenditure will actually be up now. A lot of people are taking a lot more time to go out for runs and walks, and they're trying these home workouts and stuff. So some people's actually might be up. I think it's funny because a girl actually asked that question about
yeah,
how to build muscle at home. But it depends on the person.
yeah,
Hypertrophy has a lot of different ways. Different ways you can go about it, and so does progressive overload. It's not just by adding more weight to the bar.
no,
If you have any
absolutely,
kind of weights that are heavy at home, there's a couple of different ways you can obviously build muscle tissue and stuff
yeah.
like that.
I'll
So that's
go.
still a relatively good answer.
Yeah, no, I'll go into a bit more actually for her. If it's a girl, that makes it a little bit easier. So for yourself, what I would say, there's so many different advanced techniques you can put into it. So what I would do to create a nice do certain things. So do like time under tension. So instead of doing like gung ho reps, do time under tension. So slow down your negatives, count on the way down, pause at the bottom, count on the way up. Do partial reps.
Yeah,
So make like 1 rep, so like do a half rep and then do a full contraction. So you're going to be getting like 2 reps in 1 rep. Challenge yourself in that way. So think outside of the box. And especially if you're a female, I'm going to assume she's not going to be pushing heavy weight. So absolutely, you can progress for sure. Like, I mean,
yeah,
like all you really need is like strong enough bands to create enough tension. And then you need to think about it. You do need to sit down and think, what can I do to create that tension? Like, don't just do rep, because you're not going to have that weight available with you. Now, anyone who is listening to this who knows me, I've been on my feet working since I'm 19. So this is the first time in years where I've actually sat down. And so obviously that's why I'm eating less. That's just me. Because
yeah,
when I eat, I have to eat so much more to grow. So if you're working a sedentary job, yeah,
yeah,
so you are gonna have to eat more, and you are gonna have to focus on your training a bit more. But yeah, no, for sure you can progress. It's just how badly do you want it? I mean, that's what it
yeah,
comes to. I mean, you want to progress. If you want to take it as a rest period, take it as a rest. If you want to progress, yeah, you're gonna progress, and I mean, it's up
yeah.
to you. But yeah, there's
And I have another one here for you, and it's how to best manage stress. What would be your answer for
smoke weed.
that?
Oh, joke aside,
Smoke weed and wank a lot.
yeah. Oh, joke aside, joke aside. I think a lot of problems I had was um I'll tell a story. I was the most stressed out when I was in a shitty relationship, and at the time I didn't realize it was shitty. I was with her for a year and a half. Lovely girl, but she had so many issues. It
Yeah,
drags you down. So I think you have to look, where is the stress coming from? If the stress is coming, like, there's gonna be those people who have household issues, and in that situation, I find the best way to get out of that is just get out of the house as much as you can. I don't have much experience on that end of things because I'm very lucky. My family are great. I'm probably the one that caused stress. Like, to be honest with you, I used to cause a lot of stress. I don't as much anymore. But no, I think
yeah.
look at where the stress is coming from. I think there's like, the problem is a lot of people who are stressed. Is this a guy or a girl?
That was a lad. Yeah,
It's a lad. So, like, look, you have to think about this. Like, where's the stress coming from? Is it external or internal? If it's external, look who it's coming from. If you don't have to deal with them, don't deal with them. If it's a case of work and you do have to deal with them, be professional about it. I'm very lucky in work. I know how to turn on my mind and just zone out the bullshit when I'm working with certain people and just get about my day. But I know certain people, like my sister's very emotionally attached to people, and some people are. They'd get very much attached to people and certain things. They're going to be stressed out in that area. But if it's people, just find out ways that you can, if you can remove them, remove them. If you can't remove
Yeah.
them, deal with them professionally. Now, if it's stress in terms of like, oh God, if it's mental stress, there's so many different things. I mean, if you're a bodybuilder and you're taking certain things, like I know taking certain anabolics ramps up people's anxiety. I'm very lucky in that. It doesn't really affect me mentally. But what I would say is if it's internal like that, where it's a if it's you overthinking about things, you have to find ways to not overthink. And what are you overthinking about? I mean, if you're overthinking about what do people think about you have to think about it. The only people that you should worry about is me, myself, and I. And then when you like, it sounds so selfish, but when you focus on yourself, everything kind of
Yeah.
falls in your place because you're going to be in such a good mindset then that like the people are going to be drawn to you then, and you won't be worried about it. But like the only reason I said I smoke weed is because I do smoke weed, and look, I do help. I do think it brings down my anxiety. But it calms me down. You know, I train on it. I work on it. I'm very lucid on it. But that's just me. Like, I mean, it's legal in America and stuff like that. It will be legalized over here in time. But if you are one of them people who's an anxiety monster and you smoke it, you probably aren't going to be predisposed to react well to it. But no, I think it's just don't worry about like if you feel stressed, just think about what's causing the stress and deal with it that way. Don't get so withdrawn on yourself and hide in your room like I used to do. You
Yeah.
have to realize what's causing it. I mean, if it's your job, I mean, I left my jobs that caused me stress. I just left and I went to new jobs. I mean, the last job I had before Dunn Stores, which just paid for the college, to be honest with you.
Mm.
I was in a very good position. I had a good salary. It was management. I was managing a shop, but the stress of it was driving me insane because I was put into a position where I wasn't being paid half of what I should be paid for the work I was doing. That
Yeah.
caused
Yeah.
me stress. And in that situation, I had to leave. So, you know, it's just what's causing you the stress, my man? I mean, if it's internal, it's always going to be caused externally. If it's
Yeah.
internal stress, it's always going to be caused by something on the outside. Even when it's a mental chemical imbalance, you can fix that. There's medications out there that are proven to work. I mean, if you're bipolar, I've dated someone who's bipolar. The person who I'm interested in now is bipolar.
Yeah.
You don't come off those meds ever. You never do. And the thing is, you can only hope to level out. Okay, you'll never be like you could feel great when you're up in those peaks. I mean, the last girl I dated suffered from depression. But we didn't realize until about a year in. And what happened was
Yeah.
when she was up, she was up. When she was down, that caused stress on me. So again, if you're dealing with like situations like that where it's a chemical balance, do not be afraid to ask for help. Okay, I've had therapy sessions. I used to go to therapy. I left after 3 sessions because yeah, I just didn't feel it was right for me. And I'm very lucky in that I am very strong-willed. I've had problems with recreational drugs in the past. Anyone who knows me, I went through very bad phases between for like a couple of years where I almost died. So it's like, um, but I dealt with that. I kicked it. I just went, fuck that. But that's just me.
Yeah.
If you need help, don't be afraid to ask for it, my man. I mean, anyone, send someone a text, especially during this lockdown, man. Your mental health is so important during this lockdown. Like, don't just stay inside. Get outside. Call somebody up. I mean, nobody's working now unless, I mean, if you are working now, you're going to be working from home anyway, unless you're working in retail or the healthcare business. So
Yeah.
No, don't be afraid, my man. If you're stressed out, talk to somebody. Talk to somebody. Um, just that's it. The first step is ask somebody, what can you do? And look, if I've helped you out, send me a DM after this. You listen to the podcast. Like I'm not doing anything. If you want some help with the stress, look, I can throw my 2 cents. I can throw you the name of a few people to talk to, but it's literally just don't be afraid of help. Drop your ego and just like
That's a solid fucking answer.
drop your ego because like, some people seem so proud that they don't need help. I don't think it's a matter of pride. I think it's just don't be afraid to accept that like you need help. Everyone needs help. So but that's it, my man. And yeah, I mean it's a yeah, that's it. But what I would say just to finish this up, is there any sponsors or any shout outs you want to do, my man? Or any
Sponsored by ROS Nutrition.
yeah.
It's funny. I seen you put up the thing about Prozis the other day. Made me laugh.
Yeah, let's talk about that, man. You did very well. Actually, you'd know this because I think like my take on sponsorship. I've never been sponsored. I got free access to a gym. But like I mean, like there's different kinds of sponsorship. But I think like
Yeah.
I remember Grace Mannion was. I remember she left. I'm pretty sure she left Prozis, didn't she?
Did you? I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was her or somebody else left Prozis because there was so
I know
many people.
Cahill left them, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, there was so many people taking
But do
on.
they get their supplements for like? Are they actual? I don't know how that works, but like ROS send me their products once a month for. I don't pay for anything. I think
Yeah,
Prozis
that's
I think
sponsorship.
Prozis they do though, don't they? They pay for it. They just get a code or something like that. I'm not sure how it works.
Yeah, they get a discount code, but it's not a real sponsorship. I mean, I see like certain bodybuilders, like young bodybuilders, touting it, and I'm like, get the boat. It's not.
Look, yeah. I mean, look. There's no point in being negative about it. It is what it is. If it's helping them, fair enough. But it's
But
fucking everywhere. Like,
that's my point. I just think it's so oversaturated. If I was to be sponsored, I would rather be sponsored by a smaller company that I know is being ran by people. So Amino Smart, Brian Hickey. No, give me a shout. No, look, I think there's two kinds of sponsorship. I think financial and obviously supplemental, like yourself. But you have to work for it, man. You have to fucking prove that you are worth something to a company. Because
yeah, it's funny though because when I stopped bodybuilding, that's when I was going through my blonde hair stage, that's where they approached me and wanted to sponsor me. So that was like the first big good thing that happened to me after I stopped bodybuilding. Then obviously now I work with Face the Fear, who are obviously a small Irish brand. But again, they give me clothes and they pay me for the shoots. They are fucking amazing as well. So both of my sponsors are great, are fantastic. Like,
did they contact you or did you contact?
yeah. I've never contacted anyone. I once had a talk with Rob Lipsett, should I? And he said, wait till I get to 10,000 followers. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll wait. And then them two companies approached me relatively close to the same time. So, and
Yeah,
I love them.
yeah. I think the problem is like you'd be in a different scene to me now. I mean, like within the bodybuilding scene, I think the only way a bodybuilder will get a sponsorship now is if they prove they're worth it. I mean, so you can do well in shows, absolutely, but if you're not putting out content or you're not like willing,
Yeah, it's all social media. Yeah.
yeah, like if you're not like, I mean, every sponsor. So like, I would look up the bodybuilders like Fuad Abiad, Luke Sando, guys like that who are willing to put out podcasts and content and everything. And look, my end goal is I hope this podcast does get sponsored because I'm not stopping with it. But I
Yeah.
think you can't sit on your arse and expect to get things given to you financially. But then there's the other side of things where you get these guys asking to be in a, like sending all these companies things. And there's nothing wrong with contacting companies and asking, is there anything I can do? There's a certain way you have to go about it. If you're asking a company, do not say, what can I get from you? Say, what can I offer you as a business to help you grow? Can I be a part of it? Can I contribute? Can I put out content for you? Can I
Yeah.
is the way you should be going. It's not can you, it's can I. It's like you want to
Yeah.
be positive about it, but you want to be firm and you want to know your worth. I mean, but at the same time, it just makes me laugh. I just see all these little sponsorships going around and discount codes, and I'm like, I know these guys don't really. It's not I wouldn't do it. My pride. It's not pride. I know my worth. I am
Yeah.
going to prove my worth, and I think it's just a case of like you've proven it, man. I mean, but it's a case of like I'd rather get something. I'd rather not be paid and get some supplements or clothing than get a discount code and make.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think
One of my clients today. Yeah, one of my clients today asked me if she get Prozis protein, and there's a couple of different ways to look at it. One, if you want, cool, fair enough. It's not like it's cheap, it's decent quality, okay, whatever. I'm not sure about the quality.
no,
Okay, I'm not too sure, but I
no.
know other brands, and this is the way I explained it to her. I was like, let's say Prozis is a sports bra from Pennies, and Calvin Klein have their own sports bra, and Calvin Klein want to send you this sports bra, and Pennies want to send you their sports bra. Which one do you want? Probably the Calvin Klein because it might be better quality. That's just the kind of way I give it to her. Don't be influenced by all these girls doing glute kickbacks that they do it, that you're going to get an ass like them by taking Prozis. That's all I said. I didn't say not. I didn't say it. And not that there's nothing wrong with kickbacks. I'm just saying, if you want to get pro season, and you choose your friend's code or some girl you like, that's cool. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I never force my thing down someone's throat. I have a discount code for these and for Face the Fear, and it's not all over my Instagram all the time.
Yeah.
I very rarely post about it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to shove it down people's throats just because I use it, you need to use it. Just because I do grounding in my garden with my feet in the grass doesn't mean you should do it. Just because sometimes I have butter in my coffee in the mornings, or sometimes I fast until 12 o'clock in the day, doesn't mean I think you should do it. Do you know what I mean? It depends. But I said it to her. I was like, if you want to do it, fine. But there is probably more established brands who've been around a lot longer who I'd probably choose over them. That's all I was trying to put it through.
No, 100%. Like, it depends what your goals are. Like, I'm very lucky that, like, I'm very nutritionally based. Like, my knowledge about, to be honest, I probably know more about nutrition than I'd know about 50-50 each way. As Red said, know more about food. But I think a supplement's a supplement. Like, the only time I would really I don't use creatine. Not a fan of pre-workouts, to be honest with you. I think they're too much. Like, I like non-stims, okay? If I can get a good pump product,
why don't you take creatine?
I eat so much red meat. I eat a lot of red meat,
Okay.
so there's a lot of creatine in it, a lot of creatinine in it. So
Creo.
yeah,
I fucking love Creo.
no, it's in your username. But to anyone out there, I think it's just you have to keep in mind a supplement's a supplement. So, I think there's certain things. If you're a vegetarian or a vegan, and you need vitamin B3 because you're not going to be getting that from an external source, you're going to have to inject it. That's fine. But what I mean is, like, I would use whey protein mixed with oats and peanut butter and a banana as a meal replacement because I'm adding it to my meals. But
yeah,
but because I'm putting so much into my body with it, I want it to be good quality. So if I was to go for a sponsor, it would be for a brand that I can. Like, I would rather get paid less and work for a brand that has a bit of integrity to it. I don't support a brand that whores themselves out to everybody and anybody. It's going to be, and though I'm going to tell you now, Prozis is like Optimum Nutrition. It's like the new Optimum Nutrition. Prozis, nobody will give a fuck about it in 2 years. But the brands who've proven and tested to be real, like Mutant's a great brand. I would say My Protein, as much as people rag on it, it's cheap, it's cheerful, it's actually okay quality. It's Glanbia, so you know what I mean. It's decent. Then you have Brian Hickey's brand, Amino Smart. The Irish brands are great. It's just they're very small and they don't really advertise themselves as much. But we have a huge dairy sector. We have one of the biggest producers of dairy through Glanbia, and they actually give way to a lot of these EU companies because our dairy is better quality. A lot of people don't know that. And they just go for the one that's, the most.
I don't even know where Prozis is from, like Portugal or something, or I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too familiar with it myself, but like I know
No idea.
it's just oversaturating. But no, if you're going for a sponsor, anyone who's listening to this, I'm not sponsored, okay? I'm not in a position to
ROS Nutrition.
get in contact with. No, but that being said, I don't really use a lot of things to be sponsored. Like I really don't. I mean, it would just be whey protein, probably a non-stim pre-workout here or there, and even at that, it's usually just a bit of nitric oxide or a little bit of an intro, which is dextrose for me, or
Yeah.
maybe some
Cyclic action.
yeah, something like that. But like I mean, if I was being sponsored, absolutely I'd use their products. Um, but again, I wouldn't use what they like. I would literally say to them, I'm only going to use what I like to use. If I don't like certain things that you put out, I'm not going to whore myself out and say I love it because I don't.
Yeah.
So like that's just the hardcore bodybuilder in me saying
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not going to break my integrity down and for you. But there is companies out there that will support that. But yeah, no, ROS, like, so you'd be getting your free product and stuff like that. That's great. But no, I think the end game is for me would be a sponsored athlete. But like again, you just need to form a business and get that
Yeah.
started up first. And fuck
It
me.
was always a big goal of me when I first started supplements, and it wasn't so much of being sponsored by a supplement company. Like RS are amazing, they're fantastic, and they have a lot of Irish athletes behind them. And they've been around
Yeah,
for years since I started bodybuilding. I knew them
yeah.
back in the day.
Sure.
Like,
I'm pretty sure
um,
there is part of them.
yeah, there you go. Like so, but like, what was the point? I was always a goal to get spot. It's like driving. I wanted a car. I wanted a
Yeah.
sponsorship. I wanted to win a bodybuilding show.
Yeah.
I got two of them. I just never won a fucking
Yeah.
bodybuilding show.
Yeah.
Do you know that kind of way? It was
I
more so.
got
It also takes away a lot of expense. Do you know that kind of way? So
yeah.
it helps me a lot.
Yeah.
So
So I think it depends on if you're consuming a lot of food. If you're somebody who's trying to gain weight and putting on a bit of weight, I mean, look, at the end of the day, you are going to need external support, like in the form of a good clean whey protein or whey isolate, depending on what like there's no real like look the breakdown of whey isolate and whey protein, then obviously hydro whey is just it's just broken down into smaller forms, so it just gets absorbed a little bit quicker, but it's the same bloody thing. So there's actually no
yeah,
quality increase, there's no quality increase, so don't get misconstrued with that, people. It's just the molecules are actually just smaller. It's just they've just broken it up a little bit more so it can be absorbed quicker, but the quality is going to be the same. But
yeah.
yeah, man, is there anything else you'd like to say? Like, where can we find you? What are your hands?
At Creon Muncher J. It's the most cheesiest name in the world. That's so funny. Talk about supplements and then saying that after. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it, man. And
love
thanks
it.
for so much for having me on. It's been a pleasure. It's been good to catch up with you as well.
Sure, man.